In this video, I'm going to show you how I customize my Google Calendar to be a little bit more fun because it helps me as a tool with my paper planning. I will never give up paper planning, but sometimes digital planning can be a little bit fun too. So if that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you're subscribed and I'll be right back. So first off, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kristen. I post functional planning videos on my channel 3 times a week. I'm usually in an Erin Condren monthly planner. Today's video is a little different because I am showing you how to customize your Google Calendar so that it's a little more fun to use along with your planning. I am a big proponent of using digital tools to help me in my planning process. I am first and foremost a paper planner. I will never go full digital just because I love paper and stationery just way too much. But that doesn't mean that I can't use digital tools to help keep me organized and make things a little more convenient. For example, I don't have to take my planner with me on the go because I always have my phone no matter what. And if I'm scheduling an appointment or just checking my schedule in general, I have it with me on my phone at all times, and it syncs up with my computer and I can share my calendar with my family. There's just so many benefits to using a digital version of a calendar that it would just be silly for me to not use it just because I like paper planning better. So with that being said, let's get started talking about customizing your Google Calendar just so that it's more fun. I have here the April version of my Google Calendar. It is full. It looks super full. A lot of these things are tasks, and so it makes it look like I have a lot of events, but really it's just tasks, and the times that they're set for is so that it pops up on my phone to remind me. So anything you see in gray, all the gray stuff, that is a task. And so I can actually turn that off just to make it look a little better. And the rest of this stuff is all of just the things that I need to keep track of. And some of them are events where I'm going to be busy. A lot of things here are blurred out, and that's just because I, need to keep them private, but I also wanted to show you how you can use colors and emojis and whatnot to help make your calendar be a little more fun. And so what I want to go ahead and do here is I'm going to turn off all of my calendars over here in the sidebar so that we can kind of start fresh and start from like the beginning. I'm going to create like a demo calendar to show you how you would do this from scratch. So you can see on the left sidebar, I have all of my list of all my different calendars. And these are so that I can see what's going on without having to like look through all my events. I like to categorize it that way. Maybe you have like a few different planners that you use for different things. That's like the same concept here. Like you might have a budget planner, or you might have like a workout planner or a dinner planner or a goal planner or whatever it is. That's what these separate calendars are for on the side. So I turn them all off so we have like a fresh start here. And I'm actually going to hit the W key on my keyboard to bring up the weekly view. And I have mine set to a Monday start. And you can see that this is like your hourly planner here. It has the times on the side, and then you can add events in the grid here. To add a new calendar, you go back to your sidebar and you go down to other calendars and you click the plus sign and say create new calendar. For this new calendar, I am going to call it, let's pretend we're making a content calendar. Like say you are trying to level up your social media game or start a YouTube channel or something like that. So let's just call this social media. And I actually have one here that says YouTube, and I have one here that says content. And the reason I have those separate is because the YouTube one is all of my videos. And that way I know I can like quickly toggle to that and know if I need to film a video for a certain day. And then my content is just for like the tasks involved in making that content. But for the sake of this video, we're just going to make one called social media. So one of the ways I like to kind of create my calendar here is to put spaces in between each letter. So if I just normally type out social media, it looks like this. But you can go and add a space between each letter, and it just kind of like gives it a little more of just a nicer, pleasing to the eye look. To me, it just looks a little bit nicer, and obviously you don't have to do that, and you can use correct punctuation and grammar and whatnot, but I like things in lowercase letters, and I don't know, I just like how it looks. And so on the other calendars I have available, you can see I have like an emoji after each one, and I put those at the end because Google is going to organize your calendars in alphabetical order. And so if you have an emoji at the front, it's going to like for example, the school calendar, it would put that with the P's because of the pencil. Okay, if you put that pencil on the front or at the beginning of the word school. So I just go ahead and put the emojis at the end. Now to pull up the emoji menu on your PC, you're going to want to hit the Windows button and the period button at the same time. The Windows button is just the logo that looks like the window, the Windows logo. It might also just say Win, W-I-N, depending on your keyboard. Mine is just a generic Dell keyboard, and it has the little Windows logo. So hit those buttons at the same time, and this little menu is going to pop up. I wish it were bigger, but it's not. And so you've got all these options where you can add symbols or any of these things. I want emojis, and you can actually click on the little happy face here to see a bunch of emojis. And these are just some of the emojis I've recently used. They look kind of random. There's a wizard. There's a bug, like an inchworm. We've got like a moon and an airplane. I don't know. It's just whatever. Anyway, so for social media, what you can do is you can actually type in social media, but nothing comes up. So what else can we use for social media? You can use like a phone, and like here are some like here, this has got some like apps on it, or this hand is like taking a selfie. I don't know. Let's see. What about Instagram? Nothing comes up for Instagram, but Instagram is like a camera app. So you can type in camera. So you see how there's like a bunch of different options. And what's also neat is you can change the skin tone on your emojis this way. So if you don't want to use like the Simpsons yellow, you can pick the skin tone that you prefer here, which is kind of cool. For back to our social media calendar, I am going to pick just something generic. For my YouTube one, I usually use the video camera, which is like this one. But I think for my just generic social media one, I'm just going to use this camera here. And then you can just go ahead and X out of there, and then you can see that it's up here. So then you click on create calendar, and it's creating, and then it'll say at the bottom it's successfully created. And now we have our social media calendar over here in the side. What I would like to do here is change the color. So if you remember, you can see the checkboxes here. It might be kind of hard to see, but when they're selected, you can see the color of the calendar. I want to change this color. So what you would do is go to the three dots here, click on it, and you have some options here for colors. So these are just like the default colors that Google offers, and you can get some different ones. And let me go ahead and show you how to do that real quick. If you go up to the gear in the top right corner, this is your settings for your Google Calendar, general Google Calendar like app, not just each individual calendar. I want to go to density and color here. And here there's different color sets, and you can do modern or you can do classic. So let's choose modern and see what happens. Click done. And then you've got these like darker colors here. So now if we go back to settings, density and color, and I click on classic and hit done, you can see here it's kind of like a lighter, more pastel tones of color. So those are some options there. But what if you wanted to get super creative and kind of come up with your own color scheme for your calendar? You can click here on this plus sign. So you have here like 24 different colors to choose from. But if you click on the plus sign, you can add literally any color you want. So you can drag this around, you can drag this around, you can pick any shade of color you want us to do. But that can kind of get overwhelming, and maybe it just is going to take too long, depending on how many calendars you have. If you only have like 3 or 4, then yeah, just pick like your 3 or 4 favorite colors, right? But, or a color that makes sense for the calendar. Like you might want to use like green for budgeting, or like your school color for a school calendar, or like your work can be like whatever color your work uses for branding, or for your social media, if there's a color you always use. Like I tend to use like this color in my social media. So like I could say I'm going to pick this color here and just hit save. But if you notice, there's this little spot here that says hex, and then there's a spot here that you can actually change this. You can edit this. Now, a hex key, I think it stands for hexadecimal. It's really just a color code, and it's like a universal thing. So no matter what website you're on where you can choose colors this way, it's going to be the same color. And it's usually a 6-digit like code. It's 6 digits with letters and numbers. So there's a lot of options there. One of the ways that you can find colors is by going to a website for color palettes. You can just Google that. There are so many. One of them is called colorpalettes.net. You can search on Pinterest. Anywhere that you can find like color palettes that you might like, then you're just gonna want to find one that has like this number sign or the hashtag with like the 6 digits, letters, and numbers, and just plug that into there and then hit save, and that will make your calendar be the color you want it to be. So we've got our social media like demo calendar that we're building. Now let's create some events. Let's say I have a video going up on Monday, and that's at 6 a.m. So I'm going to go ahead and just click there, and I'm going to add a title, and I'm just going to say YouTube. I did not spell that right. YouTube video. And another thing that I like to do here is add emojis to my events. And so that's kind of like when you add like a little icon sticker in your planner. So anyway, we're going to go back to the emojis, and that is Windows and period. Oh, and you know what? I did look this up. I don't know if it works, but if you are on a Mac, I think you do Control, Command, and Space all at the same time. I don't have a Mac, so I can't test that, but I Googled it, and that's what Google told me. So if you're on a Mac, try that and see if it works. If not, just Google how to find emojis on Mac. I don't know. Anyway, so here we want to say video, and this is what comes up for video. And so I'm going to pick, let's pick this little movie camera here that's not gray. There's a gray one, and then there's like this purple one. So let's pick that and just click on it and put it in there. And so what I want to do is, if you put this as a timed event, it's going to show up at the time that it happens. If you say that this does not have a time, like, oops, if it's an all day thing, it'll just be up at the top. And that's what I do with my YouTube videos, because on the monthly view, if we hit M on the keyboard, we go back to the monthly view, and it shows it in this bar. If I were to change that to a time and say, okay, my video goes live at 6 a.m., okay, and hit save, that's going to make a little like dot. So it's really just whatever you want. If you have something that is at a specific time, you can give it a time, but then on the monthly, it's going to show up this way with a dot. See all the dots here? I turned on my tasks, and so these are all the tasks I try to do. And the reason I have times, I think I said this earlier, but the reason I have times for these tasks is because these will pop up on my phone and I will get a notification that, you know, every day at 7:30, I should empty the dishwasher. And it just kind of like, if I'm doing something else, when I see that notification pop up, it's just a reminder, you know? Anyhow, let me turn the tasks off and let's hit the W again and go back to our event here. So you can see you kind of have like a little sticker and it's fun. Something else you can do to kind of change colors in a way is, so you have your calendar here. That is your social media calendar. And right now we have only YouTube on here. So what we can do is we can actually say, okay, YouTube is red. This is on our social media calendar, and the default color is that color we chose. If you go into the event itself and not the calendar over here, you can change the color of the event. So let's just pick red because YouTube is red, and let's say save and say all events. So now you've got a red thing, but it's got this tiny little sliver of the color of the calendar that you have. So let's see, we want to do Instagram. What about we want to post a reel on the days that we don't post a YouTube video? So let's just say Instagram reel. And what kind of an emoji can we use for that? Let's go and look at our emojis and see. There's nothing for reel, video. We could do like a little TV. That might be cool. So let's just pick, since it's on Instagram, let's just use this camera. It's kind of like the Instagram logo, right? So let's pick Instagram Reel, but Instagram's color is kind of purple, right? So let's pick this purple one. And then we want to do that on, let's see, how about on Tuesdays and Thursdays? Save. So now we have Instagram Reels every Tuesday and Thursday. And you can see that you can see right away that these are red for YouTube and these are purple for Instagram. You know, you can do that anyway. What about a Facebook post? Maybe on Fridays, we want to like get on Facebook at like 10. We have some time on Friday. And maybe we can go visit some Facebook groups we like and go add a picture or something of your planner to a relevant Facebook group and just kind of share and spend some time in the group and talk to people and make friends, that kind of thing. So let's see, what can we do on Facebook? There's nothing there for Facebook. What about computer? I tend to use Facebook on my computer more than on my phone. It's just habit for me. And so I'm going to pick this laptop. So we've got Facebook post, and Facebook's blue. So let's pick this blue color. And let's just say this repeats weekly on Friday. So now we've kind of got like our content mapped out, and you can see that it's got different colors. This is all in one calendar. And you don't need a different calendar for YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. You can have, you know, the one calendar for social media and include all of these things. So I know I made this a social media calendar, but there are so many different ways you can use this. You can use this for menu planning. You can have different colors depending on like what type of protein you're making. For example, if, you know, you want to do like meatless Mondays, those can be green, and like you have chicken on Tuesdays, then that can be like, I don't know, yellow or something, and like a pink or a red for nights you have beef. you know, use your imagination. Blue for seafood. I don't know. There's so many different ways you could use this to help you kind of just make it a little more fun than it just being a bunch of words on your screen. I hope this video was helpful. I know it was a little bit different than I normally do, but I know that the last time I did a Google Calendar kind of tutorial, I got some good feedback on it, and it seemed like people wanted some more stuff like that. So I hope that was at least a little bit helpful. It is really important to me to have my planners be super functional and usable and convenient. I know planning is a hobby, but for me, I don't want it to like control my life. I plan so that I can live my life. I don't want to be spending so much time playing in my planner that I'm not getting other things done that I need to get done. And having a lot of the recurring tasks and other things that are things that can be repeated in my Google Calendar really, really helps me not to forget those things. If you watch any of my Plan With Me videos, you will notice that I do tend to pull out my phone and check on things like my menu or just my general monthly plan, and that is how I keep track of that stuff so that I'm not all over the place and I don't forget anything. When I'm on the go, like at a lash appointment, for example, I always schedule my next appointment in my phone, and then that way it's ready for the next month and I know exactly when I'm gonna have appointments. Then I can add it to my calendar and not forget. So having a digital plan just is really helpful. It's also nice to see, you know, the color blocking and time blocking and just having some emojis and some other fun things to make it a little more fun and a little more like paper planning. I just wanted to show you how I do that. So I hope it was helpful. If it was, please give it a thumbs up. If you really like this video, please consider subscribing. I post functional planning videos on my channel 3 times a week, mostly using my paper planner. So if you're into that sort of thing, I hope you join, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.